Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. This is the biggest event in ICT in our country. And our country is small, but it's so big, especially when we talk about ICT. I would like to start with a motivational example that I just experienced lately. I was in Italy and I needed to open a bank account. So when I went there, they told me, did you make an appointment online and an application online? And I said, no. Can I make everything online? No, you have to make the application online, you have to apply online, and then come back here so we can check for your documents. And I was like, really? Why should I do application online? Can I do it here, as I'm already here in your office? So let me fill up the forms and we proceed. No, I'm sorry, it's impossible. You have to do the application online and come back later for checking your documents. So, okay, I went outside in cafeteria, I filled up the application online, and then went to the bank office and provided all my documents to prove that it's me and whatever they needed to prove. So, digitalization in developed countries. So this is the case of developed country, but the digitalization was not what we would expect to be. So it is adding some value, but still it's complicating sometimes things. To give it a moral to this story is that in Kosovo here, we are not so far from this kind of digitalization, right? But maybe even further in many different aspects. So when we talk about digitalization, we just can not think so much about country concept. Are we developing country or we are developed country? So the difficulties, the complexity is everywhere. What we should think about is always looking at the best examples. So where we want to be. Where are we now? It's good to have a realistic approach and be realistic with what is going on now and where are we now. But it's very important to also know where we want to be, where we see ourselves in future, where we see our country in terms of digital transformation. There is another story with an example with a French company. It's a giant company that is producing production machinery. And suddenly they realized that producing machinery, so producing hardware, is not anymore something that they want to do. And they decided to switch from hardware to software. And now imagine, because in this room, I know you can all understand me, but if we go outside of this building, it will be hard for other people to understand. I want to buy a machine to produce something. I don't want to buy software to produce something. How can software help me to produce something? So this was a huge switch that this company did for themselves, first for their employees. So it was a huge obstacle, a huge challenge for inside what to do with, like the employees couldn't understand, couldn't get this point. Now imagine how it was to educate the client. But they succeeded and they eventually implemented this digital transformation, which actually brings us to this differentiation between digital transformation and IT-enabled organizational transformation. These two terms are the latest terms that are being in research topics and the hottest topics. So we want to see more than IT-OT, more than IT-enabled organizational transformation. We want to see digital transformation in terms of changing our business identity, our value. So sometimes at this point, we are working hard in Kosovo with the cases that I have in Kosovo. Companies are all the time working to add value using digital transformation. So they will add value to what they do. right? This is also a good starting point, but where we want to go is to change the identity of companies. It is like innovation, it's big picture of digitalization in order to be in more advanced steps with digital transformation. So what is digital transformation? From my experience, I'm sorry, I started right away with the examples. I didn't present myself. I'm a professor at University for Business and Technology, and I have experience also in industry more than 13 years. My professional experience started in Politecnico di Milano when I was doing master's degree. So I continued some working experience in Italy, in Switzerland, and only after that I came back. Actually, I came back first to Macedonia, to Skopje, because I got married there, so I did some experience in Macedonia, and then came back to Pristina, to Kosovo in 2010. Being a digital transformation expert, and I also have PhD in ERP systems in IT management, so it had bring me this experience with different cases, different scenarios, different projects that I've been working with. But as I said, sometimes there are big differences with developed countries, but mostly there are not so big differences when you work with digital transformation in Kosovo or in developed countries. The challenges are, I can freely say, the same. Really, the challenges, because I also have a book published on the cases and the research that I did in Kosovo, and then this research was actually the same at the end, like a research from a researcher in Australia who did research on developed countries. So now imagine where is Australia and where is Kosovo, but still the challenges with digital transformation remain the same. The main point is top management. And now, if we want to speak about a government digital transformation, I feel on the safe side, because what I saw today and what I saw yesterday, government is fully prepared and equipped with the human capacity and also with willingness to proceed with the proper digital transformation. And also so at this point, I would say that we are fine with the top management, right? Also in businesses, in private sector, or everywhere, in the smallest company, if the top management is not the one who is so eager, so excited about changing, about implementing something new in their organization, it is very, very likely it will fail. It will not end up with something really good at the end. And although we speak about digital transformation so long time, like decades ago, but still there are many projects that fail. And it's just because this concept of what is really digital transformation and how it's actually perceived by people. I don't say by people who are here inside, but if we go outside, like 90% of people in Kosovo, when we speak about digitalization, they will say, yeah, I'm digitalized, I have a website. Or, yeah, I have a page on social media. Okay, that's great. Social media is very important. But if you don't maintain that page in social media, why do you need it for? Because if you don't have regular posts, if you don't have a strategy why you want to use the social media for, then it will end up with nothing. You have some technology, but doing nothing. Or you have a website, but no one can find you. Like if I search, I want to study computer engineering in Kosovo, and if your university doesn't come up on my first page of Google search, what's the point having a website? I cannot find you. Or I need software for HR, and I will search software for HR, and I don't see which company can provide me an HR application. So this is like thinking about beyond what is shown to us in a very, how to say, representative way, but not in deep details, what we need and how we need to use the technology in order to transform. And to transform, when I say about transforming, as we heard also before, Mr. Yagjiu, he said that it's not only technology. Actually, it's least about technology. It's mainly about people and about processes. So this is also my experience, and the research is also showing the same, and also the practice shows the same. If we don't manage people, if we cannot manage the change within the organization, first, we should organize the processes, So if we first organize the processes, and then we should organize and manage change within the organization, within people. It's very hard to change because imagine in every organization, what are people dealing with when we come to them and say, from tomorrow we are starting this big project of digital transformation, and everyone is like this. If you just say, from tomorrow you're going to use Excel for doing your job, and they were not using, it will be also frightening for them. So it's like you are changing their way of working. And especially imagine now you are changing their process of working. If they used to take this paper, write down something and bring it to the manager, and the manager puts a signature, that was for them a process. But now you will tell them, no, you should give to your employee to apply for this, and you as a manager, you approve, and then you send this to your, director, and director approves, and that's the final signature. It's another process. And it's difficult to tell them, they will say, yeah, but the employees, the lowest level of employees are not prepared to use technology. Believe it or not, from my experience, the least prepared people were much more into learning because they knew, they were afraid, they knew they don't know things, they are maybe older, and it's more difficult for them to grasp the news and the new way of technology, new using of technology. So they put much more effort in adopting and learning new things. I know that in majority we all think that elders cannot grasp this new difference, this new transformation, this new technology. But I'm talking from my experience in Kosovo with public organizations especially, because in private organizations, want it or not, somehow everyone will get involved and they will try to learn the processes and everything. In public organizations, here it's a statement, it's like famous statement that you will never lose a job. So either you work or not, you will not lose a job. So why should someone bother learning a new technology? But I'm seriously saying this from my few months ago experience. This was also surprising because there were HR department, and they were 5 women. The youngest one was something like 50 years old, the youngest one. And imagine, the oldest one was next year going to pension. It's like 64 years now. And they were working hard, but all staff, all colleagues were saying like, oh, they are older, they cannot learn, we are lacking we will be failing the project because they are not working. No, I said, they're working. Please, now you start working. It's now your time to start working and not complaining or not blaming someone. Because those women were really not so sure in themselves. They were also thinking that they cannot manage or it's too hard for them. So they were putting much more effort in order to grasp this new technology. And I'm telling this again, it's not only learning the new technology. It's not that you pass from Word to Excel or from Excel to Word. It's not you are learning something new. You are also changing the way you work. And for us consultants, this should be clear and understandable, and we should also put ourselves on the place of the client, on the other side. The good thing is that I also have been on the other side. So I was implementing a digital transformation project in a company which I was leading. And so I saw also the client side. Until then, maybe I was somehow biased, having this in mind that a client is so difficult to convince, the client is always complaining, but at this point, I saw also the client side. So now I feel quite more complete as a consultant. because I can understand and I really push and put more effort in change management. So first, I put too much effort in organizing the processes, re-engineering the processes in a company or in an organization or in a public institution. So first and most important step is to start with the processes. After we get the processes, we continue with the implementation, and where we will also need very professional skilled staff. But from my experience, when you have engaged top management, you will also find skills. You will find people who will implement the correct solution and in a correct way. You won't you won't accept no for an answer. You won't accept failure for your project because you are involved as top management. And then after that, it's very important during the implementation to be very focused and work hard on change management. And change management has to do also with the culture. The culture of the organization, the culture of people, of human being. We are human beings. We always get stressed when something new comes in front of us. Even in ICT companies, it's not that easy that you will find all the processes are digitalized. So even in IT companies like doctors, they heal others, but they don't heal themselves. So it's like a human being thing. It's not something that doesn't happen. But it's most important, being experts in this field, it's our social responsibility to bring up these topics, bring up these points, and discuss and also transfer what we know to the general knowledge and also to the public. It took us like more than 10 years to educate clients they will need digital transformation. When I came from Italy here, for me it was like this, like I don't know, a very cold shower on my head, because in Italy companies were running after you. Companies needed you, and companies knew what they need you for. They needed you for a digital transformation. Instead, when we came to Kosovo, we had to go and teach clients and convince them they need digitalization, they need an ERP system, they need an HR system. But okay, they started implementing small systems like accounting system. In 2010, it was very common. Companies started to have accounting system, which was a big step. But accounting system itself, it doesn't communicate with any other system. So you will need to find data from this department, from that. It would take 1 month to gather data and then to reanalyze the data and put in a format of a report for, I don't know, for government, for management, or whatever. So until you get the data, management has already made, I don't know, dozens of decisions, which probably could be much better and much correct if they had informed data to inform them, and in this way they would do the informed decision making. So all these difficulties that I just mentioned, like we needed to educate also the government. The government, I don't know, the public institutions, I don't know if it has been 2 years that they started publishing some tenders or something to require digitalization. Until now, no one wanted. Some platforms you already mentioned were already implemented but never used. And what does that mean? A failure. If you implement something, if you adopt a technology and you don't use it, then it's a failure. It's a waste of money. Why should you should say, yeah, I got the project, I have requirements, so I did this requirement, I did this, tick, 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 all the requirements, final acceptance, and it's done. It's not done. It has just started. So you have just started the process, the whole process. After the final acceptance, you have to be, as a consultant, as a programmer, as IT support, you have to be all the time there with the client and with people to help them grasp this change. This is also a part of the change management, which is really important, as I said before. Another point that we deal with as a challenge in Kosovo is the legislation, because now this is the next level, like higher level, when we implement great technology. Like Professor mentioned earlier, the bifocal lenses or even trifocal. I'm very happy to say that in Kosovo we have companies that implement really not less technology, but future technology in their businesses. But still they cannot use the whole potential of that technology because of the legislation. There is an eye hospital in Pristina which uses 3 focal lenses here. And they have the latest technology machinery. They did really great digital transformation, but they cannot go further. They stop there. They can do what they are allowed to do. They cannot do research. They cannot go further. So when we speak about digital transformation, we should really think about something much bigger. Not about websites, not having, this is basic, this is what we must already have. Social media and websites are something we start with when we start a company. We need to think about research and development in healthcare, in ICT, in every field. So in order to continue with this nice development and be on the track with the world and with developed countries. This is like what I wanted to say. I will just check 1 second if I forgot anything. Yeah, so I just wanted also to mention that we have many small businesses. We are talking about small, medium business, but in Kosovo, we really have too many small businesses. And supporting these businesses more than having just a website or social media is really important. And working with, because these small businesses anyway are opening new working places. Small, medium enterprises are something which is more easy to continue working than great corporations, because we are a small country and it's really hard to have big corporations and or to expect to have giant corporations. So there are many initiatives, and I've been working lately in few projects with small companies, helping them to digitalize. But we should never forget about thinking big, being innovative, and also advise companies to think in such a way. So transforming processes and sometimes even transforming the company identity will be something that will bring great return on investment or great development of the company. So I don't want to keep you more. I would like to wrap up with a speech that I had this opportunity to do today. So perception versus reality is very different. And also even in scientific point of view, it's all the time arguing what is exactly digital transformation. And none of digitization can make a business digitalized itself. It needs people, it needs processes, it needs many other factors. There are really, I mentioned top management, I mentioned change management, I mentioned people and technology, but these are not the only factors. Like every project is individual and really needs a special concern and special understanding of how or what value the digital transformation will bring to this organization. So thank you very much for your attention, and hope to see you later in cafeteria and have a chat with most of you. Most of you I know, and some of you I don't know, but please feel free for any question you may have.